Hello. I believe that nowadays there are so many people who normalize or even romanticize being sad and depressed that in my opinion it really becomes a problem. There are just so many people who don't see anything positive, who don't do anything to change their life and still complain about how bad their life is. And well, I said about it before, I've talked about it, that the only way to become happier, become better, become more successful is, or just generally become better, yeah. The only way to become better is to constantly try to make a difference. If you don't do anything with your life won't change anyway. I think the main problem of all this negativity trend is the fact that there are just so many things in our society that just distract our from the beauty of the world. There are just so many different ways of destroying our dopamine receptors that we become just very dependent or even addicted to all the social media, porn, all this technical shit that we become unsusceptible of everything around us. Because especially in TikTok, I talk more about the teenagers because there are so much different videos in social media about, I don't know, breakups, different about how bad life is, how violent, how hard, how vicious it is. The problem is that the algorithms of TikTok and all those applications with videos is that if you watch a certain kind of videos for a certain number of times, this app starts showing you more of videos like that. And because of this, if you spend a few hours a day in just scrolling the TikTok, and 90% of the content you face, or even if it's just 10%, if 10% from 3 hours you spend every single day in TikTok, it's also a big amount of time. If you interact with so much negativity every single day, it's not a miracle that you become sad and depressed. If you surround yourself with so much negativity and sadness, it's impossible not to become sad if you don't try to see anything else in your life. I've said about it one or two times before about the law of attraction. You attract what you are, and also you attract what you want to see. You notice what you want to see. You notice what you want to notice. Let's say it like that. If you want to see only exclusively negativity, you will see negativity in everything around you. If you want to see positivity, you will vice versa see positive everything everywhere around you. And personally, I believe that our world is filled with so much positivity and happiness that it is just impossible to remain sad. If you put even the smallest amount of efforts in trying to see the beauty of the world, you will see it. You will obviously see it because there are too much of it in our world. Of course, it won't be easy. Of course, it won't be easy to try to change your perspective of life. Of course, it may be really hard because you was nurturing this habit of sitting every day in TikTok. You was nurturing this habit of being sad for years, and of course, it's hard to change or to tweak a habit like that into something else easily because it's a deeply rooted aspect of your life which requires time to fix it. But if you just will try, if you will for a few days try to walk around and think about how beautiful everything around you will undoubtedly become more happier than you are. I've also said before, that you need to be, you need to either change everything you can't, you either need to change anything you can't, you need, as I said before, you need to change anything you can't accept. You either need to change anything you can't accept, or you need to just accept the things you can change. If you can't change something, you need to embrace the things, embrace the thing with just with open arms, because if you will constantly be thinking about how hard is it to bear a certain, I don't know, a certain burden or a certain adversity, if you will constantly be thinking about this shit, if you, over which you have no control, you will just waste too much energy on this on the thing. Well, you can direct this energy into something more useful, into shaping your future, into shaping your character, and into shaping your just your happy self. And I want to talk about how I worked in a restaurant, as it was my part-time job last summer. And yeah, I worked like a waiter there. And honestly, it was awful. It was really hard. I was just so miserable. I felt so tired. I also was so low up on energy that I thought that, well, it's so fucked up. But honestly, if I had an opportunity to come back in time and I was asked, well, do you want to attend this job one more time? Would you like to go on this job for one summer? And I would have said yes, because even though it was an awful experience, it was also beautiful. It was a beautiful experience in a way that I learned so much different things about life and about just people around us, that I'm extremely grateful for an experience like that, such as that. And it also played a significant role in shaping who I am today. And won't be the person I am today. I certainly won't be even recording this video or any other videos I recorded previously if I hadn't faced anything I faced in my life yet. And what I wanted to say about that, well, let me tell you about some of the things I've buried while I was working in the restaurant. And as I said before, the only person who is responsible for all adversities you face in your life is yourself. If you put a decent amount of effort in changing your life, in just in editing, or in trying to miss those hardships, you will do that. So, and well, when I worked in the restaurant, we had a really long shifts. Our shifts were 14 to 17 hours long, and because of that, I was coming back to home at 1 o'clock or 2, or sometimes even at 2 o'clock p.m. or a.m. And I was so tired. And despite of the fact that I was so tired, I still wanted to scroll TikTok for an hour, or for an hour, half an hour a day before I go to sleep. And because of that, I deprived myself from the opportunity to get enough sleep. And owing to the lack of sleep. I felt so miserable, I felt so out of energy. I was drinking energy drinks every single day, and because of that my heart started hurting when I was, well, in the last 2 weeks of my work there. And back then I was thinking that it's just an awful, I was sad, I can't say that I was depressed, but I was certainly not the happiest person in life. And as I said before in this video, nevertheless I would do this job again if I had an opportunity to come back in time. And well, even though you may think that it wasn't so bad as I tried to explain it but there were a lot of different moments, and it's hard to explain because you need to feel this by yourself. You need to feel these levels of misery and this level of tiredness, of exhaustion, I didn't say, because, well, I remember the most one shift. It was the morning shift, so it was more than 17 hours long, and I've been in the restaurant since 8 o'clock till 1 a.m. I think, yeah, something like that. And there were just so much different. It was a day where I had so much orders, then I didn't have even an opportunity to have a small rest, because usually I walked in the restaurant where most of the guests came there closer to the evening, so about 6 or 5 p.m. at least. But that day, all the customers were coming since the very morning, so I didn't have even a decent opportunity to have lunch, and all I've eaten during this shift was 3 fucking rollini. 3 fucking rollini in 17 hours when you work. It seems to me that I've walked 46,000 steps at a day, and I felt just so bad when I came back home. I couldn't sleep. I was shivering because I don't know, because maybe I like nutrition, maybe I like something nutrients or something like that. Maybe I was just too hungry or something else. But what I want to say is that even though it was really awful experience in terms of how I felt back then, but honestly I'm extremely grateful for it, and I hope that I will face a lot of things like that in my future, because the most precious thing it made me realize is the reason why there are so much people who almost deliberately destroy their lives, who are almost deliberately destroying their lives. Because, well, when I walked there, I was sitting in internet, I was sitting in TikToks, chatting with my friends on Instagram, even though I knew that if I do so, it would be much harder for me to get up the next morning. I won't get enough sleep. But I just didn't want to lose the ability of socializing with other people. I didn't want to lose all the bonds I had. And because of that, because of this lack of sleep, because of this constant tiredness, I lost all of my ambitions. I didn't want to do almost anything in my life. I'm extremely keen on physics, I'm extremely keen on motion design and photography, but back then I wasn't interested in it at all. Even though before this job I was extremely keen on photography and motion design and partly physics, but during the period when I worked in the restaurant, I was so low on energy that I've not even was it was not even hard for me to do those things. I didn't even love them. I didn't love anything in my life back then. And I think this is the reason why people who work on different hard jobs don't do anything to change their life. They just haven't got the energy. They haven't got the decent amount of drive to change their lives. And what I want to say about that, I think that it is advice for the young people. I want to say that if you want to become successful, if you want to take everything from life, you need to start working right fucking now. Because if you don't work now, if you of course it is important to enjoy your youth, but you also need to work right now. If you don't work right now, if you don't put in efforts and time to become a better person, to become closer to your future, to your aspirations and goals, you become further from them. You walk away from them, because if you don't have a decent, I don't know, education or something like that, no, it's not the right thing to say, because there are also a lot of people who haven't got a decent education, but who are pretty successful. What I want to say is, if you don't do anything to shape your future right now, if you get closer and closer to working on a medium or even a minimal wage job, you're really under the risk of being a mediocre person.